Welcome to part 2 of my Mashup tutorial for Skyrim. In part 1 of the tutorial we learned how to transfer meshes between separate models. In part 2, we will go into textures and alpha properties. Open up the modified model you have made from the previous tutorial. Now, we will be adding or tweaking the alpha properties of every mesh in the model. Right-click on a mesh, go to Node and click on Attach Property. A new drop box will pop up. Select NI Alpha Properties. Now right-click on the NI Alpha Property branch and select Flags. A small window will appear. Disable blending and enable testing. Now set alpha threshold to 135. Repeat this step for every mesh. If a mesh already has an alpha property, just adjust the settings to follow the example shown. Once this is completed, you have basically performed all the mesh-heavy aspects of this tutorial. From here, we will move on to textures. By now you should be able to navigate BSA files. Open up the texture BSA and extract the textures for the Iron and Thief Guild armor into a separate folder in the Textures folder. Now we will assign the textures to the meshes. Select the mesh and expand the branch until you can see the shader texture set. Select the shader texture branch. Notice that the display in the block details widget has changed. Expand the textures branch and assign the appropriate texture to it. Repeat this for every mesh in the model. Once done, save the file. You may choose to overwrite the existing one or save it under a different name. Open up the texture files in GIMP. This process will be relatively simple. Select the areas of the texture you do not wish to appear on the mesh. After selecting the unwanted areas, simply delete them. Then export and overwrite the file. Perform the same steps as before with the other texture. You will notice that the parts of the mesh that we're clipping are now no longer visible. When you are done, you would have something that looks like this. All that is left now is to get the meshes into the game through the creation kit. This concludes part 2 of this tutorial. I hope this has been helpful and I wish you all the best in your journey in modding for Skyrim.